Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Offside Rule, hosted by myself, Yannicka or Yan City, and I'm joined by the lovely Charlotte. Tonight we're just going to touch on a few of the players that have been linked with a move from their club to our clubs, and some of the other things that are going on in international football, considering we're in an international week. So we'll start with the big one, the big name, Haaland. He's been killing it in the Champions League. He's been killing it in the Bundesliga. He's 20 years old. He's a beast. Linked strongly with quite a few clubs now. Today's latest news is that his dad, his agent, and his little team have been going around, and they plan to go on a little European tour. They have been to Barcelona already. They've been to Madrid this afternoon. Apparently, they're going to go to Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and Man United in England to see what deals they can get and, who's going to offer the most. So, obviously with Haaland, he's one of them. I think everyone's going to be after him. Whether the fans want them or not, I don't know. But I think every club is going to be after him. Who do you think, Charlie, is the most realistic for Haaland? Because there's a lot of people kind of saying, "Oh, he'll go here or he'll go there," and it's interesting.
Not Chelsea. Basically, I don't care where he goes, but I just don't. And it's not like I think every person, like every football player, should be like, "Oh, I want Haaland," because Haaland is incredibly talented. If you can't acknowledge that, then you're not fat. Like you can't look at football like that. You have to acknowledge that he is incredibly talented. You can't misjudge that. Do I think he'll suit well in Chelsea? No. Can I see him in Man City? Absolutely, I can see him in Man City. But I can also see him at Real Madrid, and I can also see a couple of European teams, for example. I mean, I see Real Madrid going for him. I see. For me, if I'm looking at competition, there's only two people in this competition for Haaland, and that's Real Madrid and Man City. I don't see. He's not going to go to Man United. Man United. Let's be realistic here, and I'm going to be realistic. Man United aren't going to be winning the Champions League anytime soon. Man United aren't going to be winning the Premier. Well, I mean, I say that. They're not going to win the Premier League next season, put it that way. I'm being nice. When you have City at such an evolvable, when you've got Chelsea coming up for the fact that you've got Chelsea coming up with a new manager and next season is going to be different. I think he's not going to go to Liverpool because Liverpool are on a huge downfall right now, where their only chance of actually doing anything is winning the Champions League, which I don't think they're going to do. And then you've got City, who are capable of winning titles, who for me personally, I can see them winning 2 titles this season, maybe three. 3 titles I can see. The Carabao Cup, Premier League, obviously, and maybe the Champions League. I'm just saying maybe. It's a possibility. You can't rule yourselves out. I'm not saying it's 100%, but 3rd title it's not out of your reach. It's how much your players actually want this. It's the one, and do you know what? It's Aguero's last season. It's his last chance at Man City to get this. And for me, that would be an absolute gun to the head kind of, wow, I need to do this. I think you've got, he's not going to go anywhere else in for me in the Premier League. Spurs, they've got nothing in the trophy cabinet. Arsenal, no. I don't think he'll go to Everton. So for me, City in the Premier League are kind of like the top of the. I know Roman wants Haaland, but I don't, because for me, Harry Kane is better suited at Chelsea. If you look at our form, our fit, and our players, Harry Kane fits in better to what we need and what we want than actually Haaland does. I think, I think Man City for the England, but for Europe, I can see Real Madrid challenging.
Yeah.
That I don't. PSG can't challenge, like, they just, unless they were like to sell Neymar, because apparently Neymar wants to go to Everton to work with Carlo Ancelotti, is the new rumor coming out. Yeah, new rumor coming out that he apparently wants to go to work with Ancelotti. Barcelona is actually a good call, to be fair. Yeah, I think in Europe you've got Real Madrid and Barcelona competing. Obviously, Eden Hazard is injured to the end of the season, so again, he's been quite injury orientated since he's got to Real Madrid. So maybe it is a good call. I don't know. I think you've got a few places that he could go. Well, 3 places. For me, I don't see Chelsea as competition, but that's because I don't want him. If I'm take myself out of this equation, Roman wants him, so Roman might get what he wants. So I don't know. I really like. Look at Werner. Look, like, all the Bundesliga players need time to adapt. Like, they really do. And for me personally, I feel like his style of play works better at Man City than it would at Chelsea. And I feel like if we're going for anyone, we should go for Harry Kane. I would like to see Haaland in Europe and not in the Premier League, just for my own personal preference. Of Man City having Haaland would be absolutely a joke. Like, Man City would become unstoppable then. Like, we'd all be screwed. Like, you might as well just hand you the trophy every year if you've got Haaland. Be like, oh, shit, this ain't fun anymore. Like, I think with Haaland, it'll kind of take Aguero's place, and then you've got a team that, like, are quite dangerous, to be honest. I'm personally saying Barcelona or Real Madrid, but Man City is option due to his dad's preference, and his dad does have an influence in his choice. But I don't know. It's a hard one, to be honest. I can't call it because there's so many people's names, like so many football teams being called into it, teams that I didn't expect to be called into it, and I'm like, there's no smoke without fire. There is no smoke without fire. So I'm like, so I don't know. I think Liverpool are out, and I think United are out, in my opinion. If we're going to look at it Premier League wise, there are only 2 teams competing for Haaland, and that's Chelsea and City. For me personally.
Yeah, I think, because it's interesting, because I really do want Haaland, but it's one of them where I know what Man City are like. They have a strict pay structure. They have a strict transfer procedure where they don't like to go over the odds. I know in the past Man City have bought some players for ridiculous prices, but they haven't done that really in a while. A lot of our players that have come in have been like in the 20, 30 mil bracket, and then we've got obviously the odd one like Rodri. We had to pay a little bit more for Rodri. We had to pay a little bit more for Rodri. And I think, Rodri was our highest. I'm sure he's our highest fee ever. Obviously De Bruyne was 60 mil, so he was similar to Rodri, and we had obviously Ruben Diaz has come in as well. So we have had a few recently.
Diaz has been really good for you.
Yeah.
Diaz and Stones have been absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Stones was on point until the England game.
Yeah, but I think the way Man City play, he's used to playing with comfortable ballers around him where they can like. It's not. I think England's a little bit different. It's a bit. But yeah, he was playing well. But everyone's got a bad game in them. And
I agree. Everyone has that bad game, but I feel like, for me, I think people have hyped John Stones up because they're like, yeah, John Stones has been so good that when he has a bad game, people are like, oh, he's shit again. But it's just like, no, you need to take a step back. Everyone's entitled to a bad game. Like, they really are.
Yeah. I think like with with John Stones, if he's going to have a bad game, I'm glad that it's for England because
I get that.
I don't care about Man City, so yeah, it's one of them things. But I think like in terms of Haaland, like I think Man City will be interested. We're kind of been linked with him for a while because obviously of who his dad is. It's always going to be the case. Do you know what I mean? And it's one of them things where he's going to have a choice of who he wants to play for. I think Barcelona had some issues with bankruptcy, didn't they? I don't know if they've sorted that out or whether that's why they've scrapped financial fair play. Who knows? I don't know if Barcelona will be able to sort of outbid Real Madrid if Real Madrid want him. I think it'll be a similar situation in England. I think Chelsea will put up higher numbers than Man City. So it's whether it goes to a battle and everyone kind of just says, well, I'll pay this, I'll pay this, I'll pay this.
Or I think it will, to be honest.
Yeah, or it could be that everyone says, we're paying this. They all stick at the same price and he has a choice between which project he prefers. I don't know. Excuse me. The player that I can really see playing for Real Madrid is Mbappe. I think Mbappe looks like a Real Madrid player. So I actually think Haaland won't go to Real Madrid. I think it'll be Mbappe. Whether that means Haaland goes to Barcelona, who knows? Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I don't see. Do you know what the problem is? Is I think it depends where. See, Neymar's just had his contract renewed.
Yeah.
And for me, Mbappe and Neymar work so well together that I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think that Mbappe's gonna want to go.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. I could be really wrong. He could turn around and do a Jan and go straight to Real Madrid, and I'll be like, she was right, my bad. But for me, I can see him staying. I think he's going to give Poch another a season, but I think if Poch flops next season, I think that then you kind of have to look at the fact that I don't even think Neymar will stay. You see, the problem is that PSG have quite high standards, just like Chelsea. Like, they want to win.
Yeah.
They have this motivation of winning, and if you don't win, like, look at Tuchel. He wasn't having a shit season when they fired him.
I know, he won the league.
he basically won everything. Like, he was doing so well, and they still fired him. So this is where you have to be very careful at what happens, because they don't take anything. Like, Tuchel won shit for them, like, and they're still not.
And they never. It's not like, the thing is with them, the difference between what they did last season and what they've done before is they're like Man City. They're not a club that have been to finals of the Champions League. You know, so it's one of them things where that was their first ever final. So for them to kind of sack him after that, I didn't get it personally. I didn't get it. I get they want to win the Champions League, but they've swapped him with a manager who has never won anything, and obviously he's won something now, but they swapped him with a manager who had never won anything and had only got to a final as well. So it's not like they replaced him with a Pep or a Alex Ferguson or, you know, someone that's been there, done that before. That would be slightly different, but it's just not the case. I don't really know what PSG are doing, to be honest. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, I just think that, like, you've got PSG who actually they're just, I don't understand why they fired Tuchel, but I'm glad they did. Like, we've taken great credit off it. Like, cool story. Like, you fired Tuchel, cool story. We've got him. Like, you saved us, so thank you for that. But I didn't understand when I saw the Tuchel sacking. I didn't understand. I couldn't, like, compromise it, because I was like, but there wasn't like a reason, like he'd lost this many matches, or like he'd absolutely destroyed the team. He'd done nothing like that. He was winning. He was doing well. He was actually having a great season, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then, like, just before, and it's just before Christmas as well, I was like, wow, they're really in the festive spirit, you know, like, lovely there. But Yeah, it was a shock for me. I mean, I'm not disappointed. I just think that if you're Pochettino, that should be in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
That really should be in the back of your mind.
To be honest, I think if he wasn't an ex-player, I don't think he takes that job. And I'm not saying like you can turn down a PSG because a lot of managers wouldn't, especially when they're out of work. That being said, it is one of them jobs where you're under a lot of pressure. Like people talk about Pep, like, oh, Pep's been brought in to win the Champions League and stuff like that. But Pep's job is not under pressure like that. As long as he does well in the league, you know, and he's challenging in all 4 competitions, he's not going to get sacked. I'm not saying he's never going to get sacked. Obviously, if he doesn't win the Champions League within the next sort of maybe 3 or 4 years, they might look at sacking him, you know. But it's one of them things where he's not under immediate pressure, whereas they can't realistically keep Pochettino now if he gets kicked out of the Champions League and then doesn't win what Tuchel win, you know, what Tuchel, whatever you call him, won. Do you know what I mean? So they can't really do that because it's a bit unfair. You can't sack one manager for getting to a final and winning pretty much everything else. And then the manager comes in, does worse, and you keep him on. Like, I'm not saying they're going to sack him straight away because I think they will give him a little bit of time, but it wouldn't be fair to sort of keep him long term if he you know doesn't get any further than Tuchel in the Champions League. So I don't know. It's a strange one.
Yeah.
But I think, like, in terms of Haaland, like, I would love to see him at City, but I think it will all just depend on what people offer him, what he thinks is best for his career. And a City fan did make a good point today, actually. They said that I think he was a City fan. He said he doesn't see Haaland as a player that's going to go and stay at one club. He sees him as someone that will be like a Zlatan, where they go to like one club for like 3-4 years, then they move on. So I don't know. Maybe if he did go to Man City and he settled in, he might stay long term. But he probably is going to be one of them players that moves around. But for clubs, like the reason why a lot of these unexpected clubs have come in for him, I don't even think it's because they realistically really want him for their club. I think a team like Liverpool will look at someone like him and be like, we can get him in for 3 years. He can score loads of goals for us, maybe win us the league or the Champions League or whatever, and then we can sell him for big money. I think that's what Liverpool would be thinking. So that's why they're well in for him. So it'll be interesting. I think it depends what he wants. If he wants to settle somewhere and live somewhere for, you know, a long time, then, you know, he might do that, but he might also be thinking like short term. Like, oh, I'll stay there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I don't know. Because I think if you're trying to go to like a Real Madrid, if you wait 3 years, they'll probably be back to their best. You know, because right now they're a little bit like they're kind of. It's interesting as well because it's like with Man City, like we have no striker. So if he comes in, he's straight into the starting lineup. Whereas a lot of these teams, like they have a striker, and whether the striker's older, like Lewandowski or Benzema, they still have that, you know, number 9 that's going to want to start. So I don't think he walked into their lineups the way he probably would at Man City. So things like that will play into it as well. But
I agree.
I don't think City offer that money. I think City try and be stingy and lose him. Because that's what City do.
Yeah, no, that's true. There's a lot of speculation, I think, and it's kind of because there's so much speculation, more teams have been added in and it gets more confusing, and then you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
It just gets confusing, to be honest. But how do you feel about Aguero leaving? Is that like a sore, like, is that sad? Like bittersweet? Bittersweet, that's the word. It's bittersweet.
I am actually heartbroken. I loved Aguero, man. It's interesting. One of the Man City supporters clubs, one of the, like, you know, in the stadium, they do like displays and stuff. In the South Stand and stuff. And they've asked me to like do a video and a bunch of other people, you know, to talk about Aguero. So I'm going to do that. But it's sad. He's like, I've been going to City, like, obviously before Aguero, but it's been 10 years now. So it's like I spent 10 years with this guy, like pretty much every other weekend.
Yeah.
Just amazing. I love Aguero. I'm gutted that he's leaving. I wanted him to stay an extra year because even if it's not like a Haaland, there's no harm in having an extra striker. Like City used to have 4 strikers at one time. Now we have like 1.5.
Yeah.
2 halves because we've got Gabby, who clearly isn't a striker, and we've got Aguero, who's always injured. So we have like 2 halves of a striker.
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't see the big deal with him staying. Like it's not like Aguero couldn't sit on the bench for a few games. Like he's at that age where he would do that. And I don't think, by the sounds of it, I don't think Aguero wanted to leave. It sounds like Man City have said there's no place for you.
But I think Man City are kind of under the impression that that Haaland's already theirs, which I think is a poor choice from City's owners, because expect the unexpected is how I always see it. Like you never know what's going to happen. Like literally Haaland could turn around and literally go straight to Barcelona and Real Madrid, and then City are like, shit, we need to get like a second. Because I don't think City have a backup. They just assume Haaland, like they can get Haaland.
Yeah.
Which I think is not the greatest from your kind of owners, because you never know. That's the problem.
The thing is, Man City will have backups, but the problem is it depends how good the backups are, because I think they've been linked with, I saw today, they're linked with obviously Haaland, but they're also linked with Andre Silva, who's that Portuguese guy who plays for Frankfurt. So he's got really, really good record this season. Like the last season and a half, he's been on fire. But it's one of them where he's like 25, so he could be going into his peak, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I've not seen enough of him. He looks good. He speaks Portuguese, which is good. Team in particular. So yeah, these sorts of things are good. He might be a Ruben Diaz who comes in and shocks everyone a little bit like Jota did at Liverpool. We knew Jota was good, but I didn't think he was going to slot in that easily to Liverpool and play the way he has. So he could be one of them. The other one is obviously Martinez from Inter Milan. People have told me that he's a bit like a Sergio Aguero. Other people have told me he isn't really like Aguero. So I don't know. I haven't watched him.
Yeah.
But them sort of names, that would be what I would expect from Man City. This Harry Kane stuff, I'm not saying that we can't get him, because knowing us, we'll probably go and get him. But for me, I can see Man City going for a slightly younger player, someone that's not as well known, because that Andre Silva apparently is got like 30 million we can get him for. So I think I can see Man City going for someone like that. I can, because I don't think Man City are going to outbid anyone. I think once it goes for a certain amount of money, they're going to do what they did with Van Dijk and say, now we're done. And then whoever bids higher will get the player. I can't see City going into some bidding war with Chelsea and winning. I just can't see it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't know. I think we'll have to see what happens. I trust Man City, to be honest, because there's been a few times where I've been like, I want this player. We haven't got them. And then we've got someone and they've come in and been better than I would have imagined. So
yeah, no, I agree. It's do you know what? For me, I think Harry Kane's suited for Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really do think absolutely suited for Chelsea. Like, it's what we need right now. Like, I don't think Haaland would fit in that well. However much I would love to say, yeah, we got Haaland, but it's whether he works. Like, you can't just say you want Haaland because it's Haaland. Like, sorry, that's not how it works. You have to make sure that actually a team the player actually fits into the team, suits the style of play, is going to thrive in this team. If he's not, what's the point in you getting him? Although there have been rumours that Chelsea fans, ouch, Jesus Christ. Thank you guys. Yeah, so there have been rumours that like Chelsea fans want Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I say I'd like just a like annoy Everton fans. I really do. I'm not sure if he would suit Chelsea's style of play.
Yeah.
Do I think he could adjust and work? Yes. But I would personally rather Harry Kane. On experience wise, he's what we need. He's not too young to need to learn, but he's not too old where he's in his prime
Yeah.
and he's capable of actually doing a performance that we need and supporting the youngsters we're bringing up. Like, for me, it's what we need. So, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing who Chelsea actually get. Because for me, I don't actually want Lukaku. Rumour has Lukaku. No, thank you. No, 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 no. Like, he's just slow on the ball. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't think he suits Chelsea's style of play for me personally. Like, if Tuchel's going to get like this one ball pass touch, Lukaku's going to be like, huh, am I supposed to pass the ball? Like, no, hon, you're supposed to pass the ball. Like, I don't know if he suits. For me, I don't know if Lukaku can act like Haaland. I don't know if he's going to suit our style of play. For me, if we're looking between Lukaku, Haaland, and Harry Kane's up top for me because he fits. He fits our style of play. He fits our plan. As far as I'm concerned. So for me, it would have to be Harry Kane. But I think a lot of fans still do want like Haaland and Lukaku.
Yeah.
So it's interesting hearing like all these kind of fans what they want and if they want different and all that, which is really interesting to kind of see and hear. But
yeah,
for me, Harry Kane is best for us. And I've just seen a comment saying Lukaku's top 5 best striker in the world.
He put himself in that list.
I mean, Lukaku top 5 best strikers in the world. I mean, I need to have what you're on because Lukaku definitely isn't in the top 5. Like, I can name 5 that are better. Sorry. Starting with Haaland, Neymar, Mbappe, Harry Kane, probably anyone, but
yeah, I don't know what.
Sancho, there we go. That's 5. That's 5.
Evening, ladies. Daniel's in the building. Says evening, everyone. Big up to you guys. Sorry if I'm a bit late, but yeah, I think you know what. Like, it's just one of them things. I think Harry Kane is proven. You know, I'm not a massive fan of him personally. That being said, he is proven and he is going to score shitloads of goals and he is going to win trophies if he leaves, you know. So I think I was saying before the stream, with Harry Kane, it's one of them things. If he wins the Carabao Cup, I think Spurs fans get onto him because I think they'll say, why are you leaving? You said you wanted to win a trophy. You've won a trophy. Why are you then leaving? I think if he loses the Carabao Cup final to City, I think the fans will say, you know what? We're not going to win a trophy. You should leave. So I think the fans will probably be a little bit happier if he sort of leaves when they haven't won a trophy than if they've won one, because that's the argument that people, you know, he needs to win trophies. And I don't think the Carabao Cup's a big enough trophy to win in your entire career. I think it's one of them that you expect to win alongside the Prem, or, you know, maybe a season after you've won the Prem, or as well as the FA Cup. Like, that's the sort of thing you want to be winning it. You don't want to just win that. Like, Man City won that last season and everyone was saying Pet's finished and Man City is shit. And we won that trophy. So I don't think Tottenham winning that really is going to do anything for them. I think they need to go and win something a bit better than the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, you know, I agree with that.
But like I say, I like winning it in February and then going on to win the league. I don't like winning that on its own. It's a bit bad.
Yeah. Someone just said in the comments, strikers, Neymar and Mbappe are not strikers. Yeah, you're right, they're not, but they're acting like strikers with the amount of goals they're getting. So, like, come talk to me when actually, like Jose, man, come talk to me when
striker. He scores loads of goals, so.
Just to clarify, Mbappe and Neymar, like, get most of the goals apart from Icardi as well. Like, it's literally Icardi, Neymar, Mbappe. Icardi, Neymar, Mbappe. Mbappe, Neymar, Icardi. I'm like, you see the same names for PSG. Like, so for me, they may not be strikers, but they act like strikers. And if you're going to act like strikers, I'm going to put you in my top 5.
What do you think about this? Because I know Aguero's leaving. He's been linked with a few clubs.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I don't want Aguero to win the league.
I think it's because I've got my heart set on Harry Kane that, like, I don't know, like, maybe he would be. I feel like, how old's Aguero?
30. He's 32 now. He'll be 33 by the time he leaves.
Exactly. We need someone who's in their prime, not just gone out their prime. And I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that for me, I just think Harry Kane's the more suitable choice for us. Aguero can be in our top 4, but for me, it goes Harry Kane first.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, I love Aguero. Like, Aguero's obviously a Man City legend and stuff. I would say, like, he's definitely not finished, but he's so injury prone at the moment. Like, he can't play too long. You know, he's not at his best. It takes him a while normally when he gets injured to kind of get back to his best. It's even worse now because he's not getting that run of games that he was getting when he was our number 1 striker. So when he was like 27, 28, he was getting that time where it's like, you know, okay, he's been out for 5 games, let's bring him in and then just play him 5 games straight and he can get back to his best. But he doesn't really get that chance anymore. And I don't think he'd get it at Chelsea. I think he needs to either go to like a Barcelona and play with Messi, you know, and you know, do what you want to do in terms of that, or go to like a David Silva, go to like a Real Sociedad where you're not under a lot of pressure to win titles. He's got, obviously, Champions League is the only thing he's missing. I don't think he's going to win that at Barcelona, if I'm being honest. So I think in that case, he's better off just going to a club where he can play more. He's not under as much pressure to win and, you know, finish his career out in Argentina, which is where he wants to do it. So I don't know. We'll have to obviously see what happens with him, but I don't really want him to go anywhere else. The only thing
I think he does want to go back to Argentina, hence the reason why I don't think he's. The problem is that, like, his family are back in Argentina. Like, it would be easier for him, but I get the fact that he probably didn't want to leave. For me, like, why would you want to leave City? Literally everyone literally ruled out City this season. I think we had a conversation, didn't we, where I was like, I'm not ruling out City, but then you were like, oh, someone that actually doesn't, because everyone literally ruled out City. Everyone was literally like, oh, City are done for. Like, they had a few bad runs, and then all of a sudden, City have perked right up, taken the lead. I say taken the lead. They've run a marathon past the light. I can't see them. I'm like, oh, where's this? Oh, they're like 20 points ahead. I'm like, yeah, it's you know what? I don't think any player would willingly want to leave City right now when you guys are capable of winning the Champions League. You are capable. Whether you do or not is a different story.
That's what I always say.
This is my point. Like, any team is capable. Chelsea are capable. Whether we do or not is a completely different story.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying we are going to win. I'm just saying teams are capable. Just like Porto are capable of shocking Chelsea. Just like Dortmund are capable of beating City, whether they do or not. Actually, no, they're not capable. Their defense is absolutely shambolic.
They could. On their day.
They could. Absolutely, they could.
I think, you know what, because people are saying in the comments, I'm just reading some of the comments. So Ram says, branding wise, Real and Barca are the clubs. I'd agree with that.
Fair
They're the clubs. That being said, I think with Haaland, I don't know with Haaland because Haaland hasn't gone from big club to big club. Like the way he's gone about his career, I'm not saying he's not going to go to a massive club now, but some players don't do what everyone else expects them to do. You know, when Aguero was killing it at Atletico, everyone was saying he'd go to Real or he'd go to Barcelona, and he didn't. So there are sort of players that you expect to go to certain clubs and they just don't go there. So I don't really know. Mustafa's saying Haaland should join big clubs like United or Liverpool. The thing with this, right, is what people need to remember. The thing is, what people need to remember is, as a player, right, Tottenham could have had the most amount of trophies ever in their life. You are not judged by what that team won before you got there. You're judged by what you win at that club. So if you go to play for a Liverpool and Liverpool don't win anything, or he goes and signs for United and United don't win anything, Haaland has won nothing in the Prem. That's how it'll be seen. It's not going to be seen as, oh, well, he went to Man United that won loads of stuff with Cristiano Ronaldo. That's not going to be a thing. And like Haaland, you've got to think about how old Haaland is. Haaland is 20. In the last 20 years, who have been the biggest clubs in terms of what they've won? You know, it's not like they're up there and up there. Like you can talk about Liverpool, 2 Champions Leagues, you know, Man United, 2 Champions Leagues, I think, in that time. Is one of them things. But then you've got Real Madrid, who have won back to back to back. You know, you've got Barcelona, who have won a few as well. So it's not, if he's going off that, he won't be able to choose between the two. You've got to look at what he can do in his career as well, because it's all well and good you being a great club in the past, but it doesn't really mean anything. You know, if you could look at a Crystal Palace and say they've never won a trophy in their lives, they're a small club. Whereas like Sunderland have won 7 league titles. So what, do you go and join Sunderland in League One over a Crystal Palace in the Premier League because Sunderland have won more Premier League titles than Crystal Palace? Like that makes no sense. If you're a top player, you're not going to play in League One just because historically that club was better, or go to like a Nottingham Forest because they won the Champions League back to back in the day. You're not going to do that as a player. So you've got to think about how he sees his future as well. Haaland's a little bit different as well because he is a fan of Leeds and he is a fan of Man City. So if he really cared about this whole big club shit, he wouldn't support Leeds and he wouldn't support Man City. That's a fact. So I don't think he's that bothered. In terms of this, go on.
If you look at, I mean, I know Mustafa's just gone, stop laughing, Charlotte, but I'm not laughing at Man United. I'm laughing at Liverpool because Liverpool aren't a big club. Liverpool are not a big club right now. If you're going to be classed as a big club, act like one. If you're champions, defend like champions. If you've won a trophy, act like you've won a trophy and defend it. Give it blood, sweat and tears. Don't get to the point where you're now shit-faced and you only have one opportunity to win a title, because that's all Liverpool have. Like, that's, for me, is not a big club. Like, I'm sorry, that's not okay. Like, they haven't turned up in the Premier League. They haven't, like, let's be real, they haven't. The minute they lost 7-2 to Aston Villa, we knew this was going to be a shit show for Liverpool. Secondly, you can't blame it on injuries because injuries don't define anyone. They still have an absolutely banging squad. Thirdly, they don't even have a title. This isn't a titles offence. This is an annihilation. City have come in, pushed them out of the way, been like, haha, you had your fun, bitches. My turn. Literally. And I'm like, I'm happy. I'd rather City win it than Liverpool, trust me. Actually, I'd rather City win it than United. I'd rather City win it than United or Liverpool win it. So you carry on.
Do you know what, though? I think it's one of them things where, like, injuries definitely play into it. No one can deny that. That being said, their form was dropping off before that. And actually, Van Dijk was part of that 7-2. They had a decent squad for that 7-2. And then afterwards, when Van Dijk got injured, they actually were doing quite well. They were top of the league. Everyone was saying they're going to win it because they're top of the league. They don't need Van Dijk. Van Dijk will be coming back soon, blah, blah, blah. And, and then they fell off a bit. But I would expect Klopp to come back next season fighting. I would expect the players to come back next season fighting. So we will see if they do that. But I think this whole big club obsession, like, I don't know if people, like, when they're a kid, they Google the biggest club and then choose to support that club, because it seems like it's a weird obsession with my club's bigger than your club. It's like my dad's bigger than your dad. It doesn't really matter. It's one of them things. So for me, if I cared about that, I probably would have supported a different team, to be honest. I wouldn't have gone out and supported Man City, who at the time weren't in the Prem. So it's one of them things. I don't think Haaland, who is a fan of Leeds and is a fan of Man City, is really going to care that Man United won a few more trophies before he was born than Man City. Like, I just don't think he's going to care like that. I don't know. I might be wrong. He might really give a shit, but I can't see it. Otherwise, he would have probably supported a different team. Aguero's overrated, never got to European final. That is actually false. He's actually won the European. He's won the Europa League, so he has been to a European final. If you're talking Champions League final, no, he's only been to a semi. But how many players in your team have been to a European final and won it? So it's one of them things. It's not like you've got a whole team full of winners and they haven't.
Yes. I love it when you get savage.
The thing is,
no. You just carry on slamming Man United. I am really enjoying this. I'm just going to drink my wine. You just carry on savaging Man United. I'm here for this. Then that's the tea.
But this is the thing. Like, people talk about like Zlatan and stuff like that. Like, R9 has gaps in his trophy thing. Like, a lot of these big players that are some of the best players in the world haven't won everything. So was Aguero good enough to win everything? Of course he was. You know what I mean? Of course he was. If he's in a different team that have won the Champions League before, he's winning it. Are you trying to tell me if you took Firmino out of Liverpool and put Sergio Aguero there, Liverpool don't win the Champions League? Like, come on now. He's good enough to win it. The problem that Aguero's got is he's in a Man City's team whose confidence is quite low in the Champions League. So they go into it and they don't play as well as they should. If Man City play their normal football that we play week in, week out in the Prem, we'd have a Champions League by now. We don't do that, and it's a mental block. Man City needs to push past it. I'm not having any excuses this season. A lot of City fans are saying whoever fucks it up for City this season, they're going to have an agenda against, because how are you going to do that to Aguero? So, yeah, I don't know. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what happens. But I hope for his sake he wins it. He's won everything else. So that would be the final icing on the cake for him. If not, he does go to a Barcelona and they win it. I really hope he does. But I just can't see that happening at this time. I think he'll go to a club that won't win it. If they get Haaland, it's to block the other team to have him. Yeah, I think I don't know if he's talking about Man United, but I think they go in for him for that reason. They can't really afford to let Man City. I feel like he's a bit like the Van Persie signing. That season, so much. Who gets Van Persie wins the league, and Man City bottled it. They didn't go out there like, obviously, I don't know what was said, but they obviously didn't say the right things. And he went to Man United, and then they won the league, and it was very obvious that whoever got him was going to win the league. And at that time, Fergie over Mancini. Was it Mancini? Pellegrini? I think it was Mancini. Obviously, Fergie is going to be the favoured manager. It's the same way now, like, most players are more likely to go and play under Pep than they are under Ollie. It's not because they care in terms of that, but you've got to think about they're looking at who's going to coach them. So would you rather have Pep or Ollie? A lot of these players would say Pep. So having a decent manager, or having one of the best managers, does help when it comes to transfers. And I think that's why Man United got Van Persie, essentially. So
yeah, I think the problem with United is that the problem is that I think if United don't win a trophy this season, they're not going to get, yes, Bobs. I don't think they're going to get a trophy this season. If Man U don't get a trophy this season, they're not even having a chance at Haaland. Haaland wants a team that are dedicated to get trophies. If City get 2 trophies and United get none, you know where he's going.
Yeah.
This is my point. Like, you have to kind of have to like be realistic. If United don't get a trophy, the likelihood of them getting Haaland is done.
Do you know
I think you have to look at that.
You say that because remember when Hazard left Lille and he actually announced it saying, I'm going to the Champions of Europe. So maybe if Chelsea don't win that Champions League in 2012, maybe he makes a different decision. Do you know what I mean? You'll never know, obviously, but
but he didn't. And we won the Champions League in 2012. Yeah. Thank you, Drogba. Like, we won that, and Drogba was incredible. And we didn't lose. We actually won a Champions League recently. Like, I mean, United, you should check that out. When was the last time United fans won a Champions League? I'm sorry. Did I say that? Who said that? I didn't say that. No, not me.
Do you know what? It's funny though, because it's like I said yesterday in a stream. I was like, because Man United fans are saying, well, I'd rather Chelsea win it than Man City, which is fair enough. But it's like, if Chelsea win it, you're chasing Man United's record. You're only one behind Man United if you win it this season. And
yes, you know that.
I think Chelsea win it again before Man United. So I think you match their Champions League record if you win this year before they win another one. So I don't know for them. Obviously, they're not going to want Man City to win it. They've just got to hope that a foreign team win it, basically, because they're definitely not going to want Liverpool to win it either.
Do you know what the problem is? Is that we've actually got one of the easiest routes to a Champions League final.
I think you're.
Let's be realistic. Like, we are capable of beating Porto. We've already beaten Liverpool before. Yeah. Like, we beat them already on their own ground, 2-0. Like, it's not going to be a problem again. Like, on Real Madrid, like, I would have liked to play Real Madrid with Hazard, just because Hazard has a history with Chelsea. I understand he's injured to the end of the season, but we are capable of beating Real Madrid. We are capable of beating Liverpool, and we are capable of getting into the final.
Yeah.
Whoever may be in the final, and I'm praying, if I'm really honest, I'm kind of praying it's not PSG. Now, do I think PSG are capable of beating Bayern Munich? Absolutely. Yeah. But for me, PSG in a final will want it more than I think we'll lose to PSG, because PSG, it'll be another PSG final in a row where they've lost. Yeah. So I don't think they'll want that to happen. But again, I would like to do you know what? I'd really like to play PSG in the final and beat them. And then we like send Pochettino crying like a little, I'm not going to say that. But you get the point. For me, like, it's interesting, to be honest. We are capable of getting to a final. Whether we do or not is an absolutely different story, but we are capable. Yeah. I'm not, just to clarify, anyone in the chats, because I can see that like people are getting aggy, but I'm just stating that we are capable of beating teams to get to a final. And no route to the Champions League final is easy. Well, actually, if you look at Man City's route and if you look at Chelsea's route, we do have the easier route. I'm not saying that any of the teams are shit. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is that if you look, you've got Bayern Munich, PSG, Man City, Borussia Dortmund. Like, that, they are like incredible teams. But then again, I think Chelsea is the dark horse. Would I be saying this if Lampard was still there? No, absolutely not. Am I saying this because Tuchel's actually... Like, okay, tell me this now. When we got Atletico Madrid, who ruled us out? Everybody, including myself. But I was shocked we beat them in the first leg. Like, that Giroud goal was absolutely stunned. But the fact is, we beat Atletico Madrid, and it wasn't just a 1-0, it was a 3-0 victory, like on aggregate, you know, and we actually gave them a run for their money. And people can say it was just luck and shit, but we're going to prove people wrong. And, you know, can you imagine if Chelsea won the Champions League this year?
I think it's quite probable, to be honest, because I think you're definitely in the final. I think you will get past Porto. I think Liverpool will get past Real Madrid. I thought they would anyway. Now Ramos is out, they're through already. So Liverpool are through. I think the semi will be you against Liverpool. I think Chelsea should realistically be winning that. I think you go through to the final. So it just depends who you play, because I think if you play a Bayern Munich, that means they would have got past the semis without Lewandowski. So that means Lewandowski will probably be back for the. Sorry, they would have got past through the quarters without Lewandowski, got past Man City or Dortmund, which I think they're more than capable of doing that, and then they'll get to the final. Obviously, the last time you played them, you won. So who knows? They might come back for revenge. Who knows? But their defense is probably weaker than yours, so it would just be containing their attackers, which they are ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully for you in that case, you know, take your chances when you get them. So that would be obviously against them. I think if Dortmund get to the final again, they would have had to beat a Man City that are strong at the moment. They would have had to beat a PSG or a Bayern Munich, who are really strong. So if they get into that final, I would expect them to be up for it. Whether they win or not, I don't know. I think you could beat Dortmund. Then you've got Man City. I think Man City are better than Chelsea at the moment. That being said, we haven't won the Champions League before, so the pressure is all on us. I don't think Chelsea come out of that really heartbroken if you don't win it, whereas Man City, they would feel a lot of pressure. So I think if you get us in the final, it's actually your best chance of winning it.
I think the pressure gets
teams give you a harder time than we would, just because we haven't been there before. And usually you get to a final and lose before you get to a final and win. So just based off probabilities, I would say that if you get Man City, I would expect Chelsea to win. So it's quite likely. It is quite likely. The only way it won't happen is
I'm not stating that we are going to win it. I'm just stating that I'm not one of those Chelsea fans that's stating we are going to win it. I'm just saying that we are capable of winning. There's a difference between me saying we are going to win it to capable. We are capable of winning it. I mean, we're capable of getting to the final. Fact. We are capable. It depends if my team turns up or not. That's really what it is. Like, it's not based on anything else but whether my team turns up. My team doesn't turn up, but we know what happens. I don't underestimate Porto, to be honest. However, everyone says don't underestimate Porto, but they beat a Juve that has been taken over by Pirlo, and I absolutely love Pirlo as a footballer. But it's like Lampard. They've given like a great footballer their dream job. It doesn't work. Like, you've seen it work. He doesn't have the experience. You have to start from the bottom like Steven Gerrard's doing and work your way up. That's the only way you can do it. You can't just be chucked into a big club and expect to know what you're doing. So for me, I think it's I think it's interesting because Pirlo actually hasn't got the tactics at the minute, and Juve are suffering. When have you ever known like Ronaldo to ever? You've known of Ronaldo to have bad games, but you've always known he was there.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was there in the first leg. I genuinely thought he was missing in action. The tactics were poor. The ball play was poor. So for me, he's kind of he's not doing the greatest of jobs. Oh my God, Jesus, Bruno! Oh
Yeah, I think a few people are saying in the comments about not ruling Man United out of the Haaland thing. But the thing is, like, you never know because money does talk, and I think Man United will put good money down. They'll put good wages down. He has played
Yeah.
under Ollie before. That being said, he did reject Ollie before, so I think if he was desperate to work with Ollie, he would have gone the first time.
Agreed.
So I don't think any realistic, just because you played under a manager before doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go. This happened with Gundogan when he was linked with Man City. It was but he'll go with Klopp. Of course he'll go and play under Klopp, and he didn't. He chose to play under Pep. The same way Thiago, people said, well, he'll go to. Well, I don't know if people said he'd go to Man City, but he played under Pep. And he went to play under Klopp. So I don't think that is that much of a valid argument. I think Haaland will be looking at where he can be the most successful, where he can win the most trophies, because ultimately that's what they want. It's like saying, oh, I'm sure Usain Bolt doesn't mind if he finishes fourth. Of course he minds if he finishes fourth.
He absolutely does.
The Olympics to win a medal, whether that's gold or silver, or even bronze, it will depend on how well he does, but he doesn't go in there to take part. He goes there to win. And you do get some players who will spend their whole career at a club and not move and not care. But I just can't see Haaland doesn't have that affiliation with Man United where he's going to go there and spend his career there and not win anything. He doesn't have that, I'm going to do it. He would do that maybe with Leeds because he actually supports Leeds, and he said, one day he would like to play for Leeds. He might do it at Leeds because he's got that connection. He's not going to do that with Man United. So if he goes to Man United, he's going to want to be guaranteed trophies. And I'm not sure, especially with his agent, because people talk about his agent not getting on with Pep. His agent has had trouble with Pogba because Pogba was promised when he went to Man United that he was going to have talent all around him. And it's not really worked out. And that's why he was saying before that he wants to leave. I think he will stay now. I think there's been rumours today that he's going to stay. I always thought that he would. I didn't think he'd go anywhere. That being said, he was promised this star-studded team. And I don't know whether this agent of his is going to believe that Haaland is going to have support. I don't know. I don't think he'll believe that. So I don't know. To me, it doesn't really make sense if I'm him to go there. I'm not saying he should definitely join Man City because there's other options that you might want to consider. He'll definitely get more money elsewhere. I can tell you that. So it's up to him. But I just don't. The Man United link, it would only be Ollie. And can you guarantee that Ollie is going to be there long term? That's the thing. Can you guarantee that? Because I'm not so sure. If he finishes fifth, he gets sacked. That's just the way it is. Neepan says, Werner better than Martial. Let's argue. So we'll touch on your boy, Werner.
Yes, please.
Miss.
Hold on. I'm going to get some more wine before we do this. I'm going to need more wine for this.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things I've seen. Yeah, you can't argue that Aguero is not a Premier League and Man City legend. Aguero is something else. I love Aguero. City is still in the Champions League. It wouldn't surprise me if Aguero scores the winner in the final. It wouldn't surprise me if another player that's not Aguero bottles it before we get there. But it is what it is. Typical Man City in Europe. I don't trust Man City in Europe, guys. I'm not even being pessimistic. I know I'm quite a pessimistic City fan. But in Europe, I just don't trust them. So until they prove me wrong, then, it is what it is. Valvishran saying about LeBron has a new deal. Liverpool are getting some money in. I think unless you're going to spend that whole budget on Haaland, I don't think it really makes much difference. I think it's, will an American owner spend that much money on one player? I'm not so sure. They don't tend to do that. So I don't know.
Okay, I'm ready to discuss Werner now.
Werner, yeah. So his wonderful miss.
So basically, he was playing against Germany and he missed again, and I wasn't surprised. Chelsea have been dealing with it. However, hold on, what is it? Hold on, 2 secs. The man has got the most assists, is it? I believe. I think it is. However much we take away the fact, most pass assists or something, I don't know. But he has been of value to us. Whether he actually gets the balls in the back of the net is a different story. He doesn't. But the miss was absolutely the miss. It was just, I can't. There's no words for the miss. But it is what it is. He's still adapting to the league. We've seen moments of it. For me, his passing, his runs, his one-touch passes actually are all incredible. So if you take away the fact that he hasn't got a goals, he has continued to pass the ball, to get those assists, to help get the goals. Whether he's actually getting the goals or not, he's still helping get those goals in one way or another. Yes, he's had a few misses. He's still... Don't you growl at me. Sorry. He's still... Oh, God. Sorry. 2 seconds.
No, it's all right. Andrew Murphy says City will beat us at Wembley, though. It's interesting because actually our record against Chelsea in semi is quite good, actually. I'm not saying we're going to win. I think the FA Cup is the one that we definitely won't win. I don't think we'll win the Champions League. I think we'll win 2. I think we'll win the I hope we win the Carabao Cup. And I think we'll win the Prem. But to be honest, it depends how it goes, because I think if we go out of the FA Cup to Chelsea, I think we go even harder for the Carabao Cup. I think if we go through against Chelsea, I think the Carabao Cup, I think they prioritise it least, and I think Spurs would have a good chance of winning it. It could go all tits up, and we could end up going out of the Champions League to Dortmund, losing the semi-final to Chelsea, and losing the Carabao Cup final to Tottenham. But I don't think we do all 3. I think we go through at least 1 or 2, and I think we maybe win the other final. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
But I think Chelsea fans need to actually... I've been one of those people that's actually been like, oh, he's not got us any goals. He's performing not very well. But if you take a step back and you look at the pass assist and you look at the ball assist, and the fact is that actually he's done a lot for our team. Yes, he hasn't got many goals. That's a fact.
Yeah.
But he is performing well. He's not under Tuchel. He's thriving.
Yeah.
Now, we can't, we've all said this, Havertz, Werner, Ziyech. They've all got to readapt to a Premier League, not a Bundesliga, which is different. We do have to give him time. Fair play, I haven't actually done that, and I hold my hands up. But, we do need to give them time, and Werner will thrive. And next season, I believe Werner will thrive just as much as everyone expected. But I think you always need that season to kind of settle in. But you've seen moments from Ziyech, you've seen moments from Havertz, you've seen moments from Werner. But you have to kind of have to give people time, because otherwise it's not worth it. And I think that, Werner next season will be an absolute danger to everybody. I personally believe that.
Yeah.
But I think he just needs that time to settle in.
That's what I was saying earlier in the season, when people are saying Chelsea has spent this much money, but it's but some players do take longer. Do you know what I mean? A lot of Man City's good players have, the second season's been where they've really shone. I think Sane, his first season was okay. His second season was really, really good. Rodri wasn't great in his first season. It took him a while to settle in. He's much, much better now. Gundogan was injured a lot of the first season, so there's been quite a lot of our players that have shone more in the second season. There's been quite a few, so I would kind of expect us to kind of the players that we've bought, even in Ferran Torres, and the players that you've bought. I would expect next season to be where they really shine. So I don't know. Chelsea are going to be a problem next season. I think at City, I don't think he'll go back to back again. So I think Chelsea have a good chance of winning it next season.
No, I agree. You know, I just think that, I think everyone knows where my agendas are. I'm willing. Ziyech showed me moments of absolute greatness in a few matches that were really important to us. So for me, I'm willing to give the man time, see what's capable. Werner, I'm obviously, you've got to give Werner time as well. You've got to give Havertz time as well. I see Havertz becoming very important to us. I see that we've bought Havertz for 80 million. I expect us to rely on Havertz next season, to be honest. Yeah. That's what I would like to see. The only player, and I think everyone knows this, my only ever agenda is with Pulisic. But it's not on the fact that, everyone thinks I just have a Pulisic agenda because I think he's shit, but I think he's a really good player. I've seen moments. But the problem is that he has too many injuries. That's my only issue with Pulisic. People are like, oh, but he has 21 injuries in 22 years and he hasn't been playing football for 22 years. So just take that in for a second. Thirdly, we have 3 strikers at the minute. Werner, Giroud, and Abraham. For me, I would personally get rid of Abraham. Do you know what? And it's not on, because I feel like Giroud at Chelsea's been really disrespected. Not underrated, underused. Is that a word? Not used enough for me.
I know what you mean.
He's not been used enough when he is capable of it. I'm not saying that's anyone's fault. You had Eden Hazard, I get that, but for me, Giroud is an incredible, talented footballer. And if we're choosing Abraham over Giroud, then I think that's a joke on us. For me, I can deal with that. I just think that you've kind of got to look at our team and realise that next season's probably going to be better for us. Ziyech will have settled in, Havertz will have settled in, Werner would have settled. I'm really hoping that Werner really settles in and actually proves people wrong. I don't really want Abraham over Giroud, just because I think Giroud is a better backup for us. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. For me, Abraham, I can see going to somewhere. I can see him going back to Aston Villa. I can see him going to West Ham. I can see him going to a few teams that kind of need that. But I don't know, for me, Giroud, they underused him, and I've always been annoyed with how Giroud wasn't used enough, because for me, he's extremely talented. He's shown that on many occasions. Look at the bicycle kick he did. I don't even have to say words about that.
I like Giroud. Daniel was saying earlier, sorry guys, I'm well behind. But Daniel said Chelsea haven't conceded in over 11 hours. And then Valvatron saying if Porto win 2-0. I know Porto's defence are quite good, but that being said, we scored 3 against them at home. Actually, we scored 4 against them in the group stage in the 2 different ties. The first one was 3-1 to Man City. The second one was 1-1 away or 0-0. I think it might have been 0-0. Something like that. So, yeah, they have defensively, they're okay. They're quite good, actually, I'd say, defensively. But I think you can still score past them, clearly. So, yeah, we'll just have to see. I think if Chelsea play the way you did against Atletico, they won't win. I think you'll definitely... I mean, they won't win, as in you will win. So, yeah, Ryan, I don't know. I think Man City... I just can't see it as much as I want it to happen. I keep saying it's going to happen because I'm just talking it into, talking it into existence. But yeah, I don't think he comes realistically, if I'm being honest. Smash the like button, guys, if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Haaland wants a big club. Nobody outside of fans that supported their club for being big care about a big club. Like, if you supported your club simply because they were big, you're going to care about them things. Haaland ain't going to care about that shit. Trust me.
Facts.
And you know what? It's funny because when we were linked with Aguero, people said exactly the same things. Why would he go? He's killing it at Atletico Madrid. He's just won the Europa League. Why would he go to Man City? And he came to Man City and left the legend. Do you know what I mean? So one of them think Yaya Toure, why would he go to Man City? He came like David Silva at the time. Bernardo Silva was a dead cert for Man United. Man United fans were celebrating him with all their YouTube videos. And then he ended up joining Man City. So it happens all the time. And yeah, it's not always the case. I agree with this, Neepan. It's definitely a matter of when, not if. It's just when we do it. I think City need to kind of they need to get to a final. Like I would accept a final this season as much as I do want to win it, and I think we should win it for Aguero. We just need to take that extra step, and then eventually we'll win it. It's not something that's never going to happen. Like this, you're deluded if you think that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, DJ Sav, he says, here comes a slander, I think he means for Timo. I get he missed badly, but there is a class player there who's going through a torrid time. We need to get him back, not switch on him. True. You know what? Strikers, it's all about confidence. If you get your confidence back, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm not slanging him off, just to clarify this. I'm not. I have done before, hold my hands up to that. But for me, I see that we need to give him time. We need to give him that, like, next season could be a different story. And I hope it is. I really hope it is. I just think that people are going to slag him off for this kind of the abuse. I've already seen the abuse on Twitter. And you know what? Kindness costs nothing. So, guys, please be kind. There's so much bad and horrible and evil stuff going on at the minute that it doesn't take a minute to be kind. So just remember that you don't know what's going on in someone's life. So please be kind to people.
Yeah. And Rio, if you're triggered by what I said, it's not my fault your team are dead, innit? It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It is what it is. Yeah, Martial missed some absolute ridiculous. He missed a sitter against Man City, but it is what it is. I think he still got man of the match, so it's what it is. Ravi, big up Dan for always keeping it real and seeing the bigger picture with City. Big up to Dupe in the building. Yeah, I'm not deluded. Like, if the thing is with me, like, I grew up a City fan. I think most City fans are realistic. You do get the odd City fans who will say, our team are this and that, and they're going to win everything, and you get that in every fan base, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That being said, most City fans are realistic. If you actually go to a game and speak to Man City fans before the game, they're not these cocky fans. This is social media fans where they're saying, we're going to win the quadruple.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah, no one in the stadium is saying that. Like, the amount of times I've gone to football and I've had conversations with City fans and they're like, oh yeah, they're not massive fans of Europe, and every time I say this, people think I'm lying. Like, I'm not. They're not big fans. A lot of them don't come to Champions League games. So, like, when I go to Premier League games, like, I know everyone around me. When I go to Champions League games, people I don't know. Like, I'm not surrounded by people I know. It's really random.
Yeah.
They don't love it too much, and I think I really want Man City to win it this year, because I want them to win it without fans, because I think they say that, with Liverpool, for example, the fans are always 100% behind them. So even if Liverpool should not realistically be beating the team in front of them, their fans, especially at Anfield, can urge them on to win. Whereas Man City, even if our stadium's there, we're singing, blah, 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 they don't feel that support that Liverpool players feel. And I think if they can do it without fans, no one's got that sort of push from their fans that Man City aren't getting from their
Everyone can be like, oh, I can't believe this, or this is
Yeah,
like they've won it without fans, which is actually, you know what? I'm sick and tired of hearing Liverpool fans being like, oh, it's because we haven't got a crowd. You can't blame that. You
yeah,
have incredibly talented players.
yeah,
Your starting 11 isn't the world's shittest starting 11. It's a decent starting 11. You have Salah, you have Mane,
yeah.
like you have Firmino back. Like you can't tell me that because you have no fans that that's why you're losing. It's not. Like you guys have to realize that your team just aren't turning up. I actually agree from this, like the disrespectful Werner. Yeah, you know, like we all just need to be kind, to be honest. Let's all be kind.
Big up Prime in the building. You know what?
Yes, time.
I think it's one of them things. Like I think it'll come good. It happens every time a player comes in. They
It
don't
just
play that well.
needs a
Everyone says they're
season.
shit. Yeah, and the
It's
next
just a
season
season.
they
And you
fly.
know what? I think the problem is because you get everyone telling you like 260 mil. Like, I think, yeah, I know. I only have one agenda. Actually, no, two agendas. Sorry. My first agenda is Kepa. My first agenda is Kepa. I think everyone agrees with me that Kepa is done. And my second agenda is Pulisic. But it's not really an agenda. I say it's an agenda, but it's not really. I think I have a right to be concerned of a player that's had 21 injuries. I've never in my life said he's shit. I'm just concerned. I'm just saying, I'm not starting on the Pulisic, Charlotte. Like, I'm really not. Like, I'm just saying that, like, 21 injuries in 22 years, like, and I'm not saying he's a bad player either. My concern is just the injury basis.
Yeah, Ravi asked me this earlier. Is it true that City want Ings? We've been linked to everyone under the sun, to be honest.
You've been linked to like you're so greedy. Like, why are City?
Do you know what it is? You know what it is? It's because when Man City play a team and they interview Pep after, Pep always says things like, "Oh, that player's fantastic." So the next time there's like transfer rumors, it's always Pep wants this player and Pep wants that player. Like Pep could beat a team 40-0 and say they were great. Like, come on now, like.
Yeah.
One of them things. He's polite and and to be honest, like Pep is a little bit like he probably sees things that other people don't see as well. So if you're watching the game, you might be like, that player was shit, but he might see things in that player that you don't see, and that's why he's saying that player's good. You know what I mean?
No, I get.
So I think it's one of them things.
Someone's just asked me. Someone's just said, which Chelsea player does Charles like again? I'm gonna give you a list now. Mendy, Rudiger, Zuma, Kante, Mount, Hudson-Odoi, Giroud. Yeah, that's just a few of them. I'm not going to name them all. I don't want to bore you. There's a long ass list. There's only literally like two players that I actually have issue with, and that's Kepa and Pulisic. And one of them isn't because he's a shit player. The other is Kepa's a shit like goalkeeper. Like, I'm not even playing. But ever since that like Sari incident with like the Attitude Era, like man's gone downhill. Like, but yeah.
I love Big Steve. Big up to Big Steve every time. I've not spoke to him in a while actually. I need to message him. Get him on my channel at some point. Yeah, the thing is, everyone laughs at other teams when they miss sitters. That's what happens. Do you know what I mean? Like when Sterling misses, everyone goes about how shit he is when he's actually created or been involved in the most amount of goals. Been involved in the most amount of goals in terms of build up, I don't know, assist and scoring than everyone but Salah and I think Harry Kane. So it says it all. But
Yeah.
you can keep saying he's crap if you want. If it helps your team to feel better, being 14 points behind, then you can. Yeah, definitely not. You know what? It's funny because people always ask me now, how long have you supported Man City? It's like, how long have you supported your club? Do you know what I mean? Like, come on now. Seriously, like for me, like I've actually had a season ticket longer than Man City have had money. So it's like it's not one of them things where I could have just randomly been like, oh yeah, let me just join this club because they're winning. You know, if you met my dad, like my dad's been going to City for over 50 years, so he knows everything. I really don't. Big up One Rovers Vlogs. Go check him out. His channel.
Yes, big up Charlie.
Ravi, what was my thoughts on Aguero when he had blonde hair? I don't really like the blonde hair, but you know what? Aguero is a beautiful man, so it is what it is. He's cute. Yeah, Ryan, we don't want to hear your Martial agendas. Take that to Man United Fan TV because no one here cares. No one here actually cares. You do have an agenda. You just see Man United players well over the level that they're actually at, and it's just really strange, but is what it is. Until your team hits the post 19 times in a season, don't complain about missing sitters. I'm pretty sure Man City hold all the good records in the league. Well, most of the good records in the league and most of the bad ones as well. We're the only team that have ever... We actually got relegated scoring the most goals in the league. How do you score the most goals in the league and get relegated in the same year? Like, Man City... They have... Some of our records are unreal. Like, you don't even believe them when you hear them. Like, and it's at both ends of the spectrum. Like, supporting Man City is a proper roller coaster. You've had everything. Like, there isn't another team that is giving you everything. Man City have literally given you everything in football, apart from the Champions League. But then you could argue they won the European Cup Winners' Cup, which was the top cup at that time. You know, you had to play the winners of everything. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true, to be honest.
It's one of them things. It's just like, if we win the Champions League, they've given me the full journey. You know, I can die tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow.
Jan, please don't be saying shit like that.
Yeah, no.
I'm okay. I'm okay if you live another like 80 years, if that's okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I doubt it.
Yeah, please. Please.
Do you know what's funny though? It's like Ryan, who is a Liverpool fan, rates these players that the Man United fans in the chat don't even rate. So what does that tell you? Like, come on now. If they're not rating them, I mean, like we've seen how many shows on Man United sort of YouTube that's saying like, is Martial good enough for us? Should we sell Martial? And most of the people are saying, yeah, we should. He's not done what he needs to do. You know, he's not done this, he's not done that. And, you know, it's like, and then you get a Liverpool fan who's like, he's the best striker in the league. And it's just like, he's not.
Do you know what? I'm not complaining. And do you know what? This is my thoughts on Martial. And then I'm going to end this discussion for once and for all, because this isn't a Man United chat. Do I think he's lived up to his potential? No. Do I think he has that potential? Absolutely. Do I think he's got 100% more to give? Absolutely. Do I think he's under the wrong kind of influence in the wrong team? Yes, absolutely. It's like Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba against France is incredible because he's playing with players of his caliber. You put him in a Man United team and he doesn't play up to that standard because he's not surrounded by the right players. Yeah. And that's the only issue. And that's the issue with Martial as well. I think he's capable if he was in the right, like, you know, with the right kind of players.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, Pogba, like, I think Pogba, even in Man United, like, when I watch Man United, to me, he's their best player. He definitely has an impact.
Apart from, I really hate to say this, apart from Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, but
Bruno
I think
Fernandes. But the only problem with Bruno Fernandes is that Bruno does not turn up in big games.
Yeah, in
big games, like in really important games that you actually need to win. He doesn't turn up.
Yeah.
Paul Pogba has come on and actually made that difference.
Yeah. And that's for me, that's why I rate Pogba really highly. The only thing about Pogba is people that say Pogba is the best in the league. It's like, that can only be on potential because we haven't actually seen him boss the Premier League. Like, out of him and Kante, they both played together in France. We've seen Kante win the league with two different teams. Yes, you can argue Chelsea at that time, one of the best teams in the league, could have won the league, anyway. So yeah, you can argue with that. But he won the league with Leicester. If you put Pogba in a Leicester squad, people are saying, how do you expect him to win the league with Leicester? Well, Kante did it. So it's one of them things, like, even if you're looking at French midfielders from France in the league, Pogba hasn't done more than Kante in this league. So as much as the potential is there, I think until we start seeing it and he leads Man United to a title, or he leads them to something, like, then I think he's always going to be looked down on by other fans, because a lot of people, like, they'll say, oh, what's this player won? Like, even in the chat, we're getting Aguero's never won the Champions League. That's the sort of comments you get. And this is Sergio Aguero, who has torn the league apart for 10 years. And they're still saying it's one of them things where it's like, oh, yeah, well, he's not won the Champions League. So until Pogba, even does stuff like that, I think, yes, I do rate him. I do think he's got world class. I think he's a world class player. I just don't think he's reached that world class status that he's reached for France in the Prem. He hasn't done it in the Prem. So until he does it, he's always going to be kind of looked down on. But yeah, Ultra Parisian about Kante. Kante isn't playing with donkeys now, but he was playing with Leicester, who just came up from the Championship. So it's not a case of he was always in a big club. He's done it with teams. We've seen it before. Like, I've seen, the reason why I rate De Bruyne so highly is, even when Man City went out against Lyon, he was our best player on the pitch. A lot of these games, he was our best player on the pitch. We might have gone out, we might have not got through or whatever, but he's been our best player in a lot of these games. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, I don't know, it's Bruno so far, I haven't seen it. I'm not saying he's not capable. He clearly is a fantastic player, but I haven't seen it in the big games. And this is where you want to see the best of Bruno. You don't want to see it against West Brom. You want to see it against the Man Cities when they're in a cup, and stuff like that. So I don't know. I give him time, because he's not long been at Man United. He's only been there like a year now. So I'll give him time. But yeah, I don't think you can put him above De Bruyne, who's been doing it consistently. So that's the only thing that I would say. But I think Pogba made the wrong choice. I think Pogba should have joined Man City or Chelsea. That's
I don't disagree with that. I really don't.
So I think it's on. I think, oh, where's the comments? I'm just gonna big up to everyone in the comments. I'm just gonna get to a few more and then we'll wrap up. Gotta love blonde hair. Yeah, I'm definitely not plastic. I don't think you can be a plastic Man City fan. Well, I suppose you could nowadays, but even then, it's like Man City just give you a roller coaster. Even now, Dupe says, Jan and Charles, the dazzling duo. Love that. Has Man City ever been in League One? Yes, but I don't think it was called League One. I don't think it was called League One, because they went down, but it used to be called different things. But we've been into the 3rd division, which I believe is League One. I might be wrong, but I think it's League One. So yeah, the 3rd division we were in at one point. Daniel, Jan is amazing. Love that. Yeah, Man United, you know what? Man United do realise how lucky they are. The problem with Man United is their fans still think they're Fergie 2008, and that's just not the case, It's
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, Division 2. Yeah, we've been into the 3rd division, actually. So we've actually been worse off than that. Yeah, and what formation will City play? This is Pep. I don't know. I'd like to see Aguero. Now he's been announced that he's leaving, but I don't think we will. Kelechi's going to give us a problem, man. So we'll see. Same thing with Mount and Chelsea fans. I think this is about people debating about him. I think Mount is a quality player. He will be. Yeah, I don't know about Martial, man. Don't know, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I really don't. No. Bruno's mad overrated. I agree with this. Every time I watch him, I don't really notice that he's playing, if I'm being honest.
You know what? I feel like at the start of the season, he made a real impact.
Yeah.
But I feel like the more big games that have happened, the more he hasn't turned up.
Yeah.
The more he hasn't actually done anything. Yes, he's got the goals when he needed. Well, I mean, I say penalties. But, you know, for me, he just, if you look at it realistically, he hasn't. You're right.
Yeah. I think, like, I don't know. It's one of them things where, like, if Man United weren't getting to finals, like, whether that's semi or quarter or whatever, if they weren't getting to finals, then I'd be like, okay. But they're getting to finals and then they're going out and he's not present in that game. Like, I've seen De Bruyne turn up at Old Trafford, win the first leg single-handedly. So when Man United came back and beat us, we still went through. I've seen him do that. I haven't seen that from Bruno yet. Not saying he won't do it. He might. But it is what it is. Daniel says he's supported Chelsea for 22 years since 1998. Fair enough. I didn't really. I've been a City fan my whole life, but I wasn't really into football as a kid, to be honest. I played it more than I watched it. Oh, one sec. Let me just get my door.
No problem.
One sec. Let me get on something that you can answer, and then I'll get the door.
Yeah.
Okay, your thoughts on Grazie. This is Graham Potter, by the way.
Graham Potter, man. That's an interesting one, to be honest. For me, do you know what? I get why Jan doesn't put the respect on him for me. Do I think he deserves it? Yeah. I don't know. For me, as a footballer, great, cool story. Do I think he's doing well at the minute? Not so much. As a footballer, give him my full respects. But as a manager, I mean, I can't give him my respects right now. As a footballer, I don't think anyone can not give him your respects. As a footballer, fair play to him. He did his job. But as a manager, I'm struggling, to be honest. I really am, because I don't know where he goes from here. He's struggling with Brighton, and I don't know how you go onwards and upwards, if that makes sense. He as a footballer, he has my 100% full respect. As a manager, like I keep telling people, being a footballer and being a manager are two different jobs. They deserve two different respects. And for me, he has my respect in football, but not as a manager. I think that's about as fair as I could be.
It's rare that you're kind of excellent in both. Like Pep
I agree.
Pep was a really good midfielder, and then he became a really good manager, but not everyone is like that. A lot of the better managers kind of weren't footballers or were low-level kind of footballers. So, I don't know. In terms of what midfielder in the world could lead this United team to a league title, I don't know, because if you put that Leicester team and you said Jamie Vardy, Riyad Mahrez, and Kante at that time we're going to lead Leicester to a title, you would have laughed them out the door. If you got linked to them three players, Man United would have been like, we're too big for them players. And look what happened. So, yeah. I don't know. Would De Bruyne lead them to a title?
Do you know what? I'm a little bit stressed here.
Bruno.
Slens, I thought of your friends here. Slens. You know, you can't be putting De Bruyne and United in the same. Oh God, that's stressing me out that they're in the same sentence. Like, KDB went from Chelsea to Man City. We lost a great player, but let me tell you now, he's not going to United.
No, he would never. He would never.
But you know, I don't actually think De Bruyne would actually. I don't think KDB would actually make a difference to United, because I think it's not just issues going from the top. When you have an issue, you have to work from there. You have to start from the bottom and work to the top. So the bottom is the owners. Then you've got to go down to the board. Then you've got to go the board of directors. You've got to go to like Ed Woodward, who's a piece of shit. excuse my French, but I don't think very highly of him. I don't think his interests are that good.
Yeah. Ryan says it's because Brighton's attackers are shit. But I'd agree with that. They're not the best.
Do you know what? You can't. No, I agree with this. You can't just blame the manager.
Yeah.
You can't blame the manager unless you blame the players as well, because the manager can only do so much before. You know what I mean? Like the manager can give them the right tactics, the right like motivation, and the players don't perform, and then you have to blame it. For me, it's a 50-50 situation with the managers and the players. You have to blame both.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Blame both.
Yeah, Zidane definitely. I'd say Poch maybe. Obviously, he's not won much now, but I think at the end of his career, he'll be in that conversation as well. I think he was a quality player when he was young. Rayola says he doesn't deal with pets. I don't think he'll be at City. Yeah, I say that a lot, so I don't think he'll be at City either, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think he'll go PSG. Yeah, it's true. Chelsea is the genuine option. The thing is, we don't know this because he was killing it at Wolfsburg, and Wolfsburg were a not as good team, and he was still killing it. He was mashing up Bayern Munich in that team for Wolfsburg. So I don't know. I agree. I think De Bruyne it's weird because he's kind of underrated. It's really strange because people just don't rate him. Like the fact that you're putting Bruno in a conversation with him after one decent year is a bit disrespectful to me, if I'm being honest. But it is what it is. It happens with City players. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Charles, where can they find you?
You can find me at Charles_Strong on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on my YouTube channel at Strong TV. Make sure you check that out. We got the Everything But Football show, which is basically a Marvel geek show, which we talk about cool stuff. And we've got the Wine and Football show as well. So make sure you check it out. We are going to be doing watch-alongs for WrestleMania and NXT TakeOver as well. And also on here every week. So make sure you check out the First XI and subscribe if you're not subscribed already.
Yeah. And you can find me on Sarcasm City, Yan City ENT, or on here on Thursday nights. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.